O'Reilly. You need parts? O'Reilly Auto Parts has parts. Need them fast? We've got fast. No matter what you need, we have thousands of professional parts people doing their part to make sure you have it. Product availability. Just one part that makes O'Reilly stand apart. The professional parts people. O'Reilly Auto Parts.
There's nothing like snook hook sets at dawn or catching a tarpon in the moonlight. Find your next fishing trip made easy on fishingbooker.com and experience the magic of the Sunshine State or any other destination on your fishing bucket list. Book a blue water adventure in search of sailfish or go snapper fishing with the kids. With over 6,000 captains and trips to choose from, planning your next one just got a whole lot easier. Download the Fishing Booker app on the Google Play or App Store, or visit them online at fishingbooker.com to book your trip today. You ever get that feeling the walls closing in, the concrete jungle suffocating you? You crave some wide open spaces, the chance to connect with nature, maybe in a spot all your own. Well, head over to land.com. They've got ranches, forests, mountains, streams, you name it. Search by acreage. You can search by location. You can search by the kind of hunting and fishing you're dreaming of. Land.com. It is where the adventure begins.
Oh, hey, everybody. Welcome to episode 14 of the Quarantine Cast. We're getting up there in number. 14, Phil. 14 whole Quarantine Casts. How you feeling?
I'm feeling good. I just telling you earlier, I just ate a bag of my kids' fruit snacks and drank a bunch of coffee, and I was having trouble putting thoughts together. But I think I'm finally coming back down.
Now we're going to give you another chance to do it, Phil. Don't worry. I'm having similar issues, man. It feels like Groundhog Day. Maybe it is Groundhog Day. There's no way to know. But a good show coming up for you. I talked to Michael Hunsucker, who is one of the guys behind Heartland Bowhunter. In my opinion, one of the best outdoor TV shows that's out there still today. He's been doing it for 13 years. He went to Nebraska, actually, right before they dropped the hammer on non-residents going there. He traveled there from Missouri, had an interesting experience, so we got to talk about his hunt where he killed 3 gobblers in one sit, and then also what it's like to venture out go hunting in a different state during the quarantine. So he's had a lot of cool insights, and that's what we're talking about today on the show. We got one more. Just remember now, Phil, we got one more Quarantine Cast yet to go, and that's tomorrow. It'll be a sad day, but we'll see you Tuesday. It's not gonna feel that much different, right?
No, it's not going to feel any different. You're still here every week. We're still in our respective bedrooms, and it'll just be slightly less often.
That's true. So give us a chance. We better. I feel it's just the pressure to be that much better once a week than we were 5 times a week. So I feel the pressure. I'll be honest, and we'll do our best for you. Don't worry. We'll be back here on Tuesday, and better than ever, I say. A lot of things going on. We talked about yesterday that there were there's some closures, some cancellations of certain hunting seasons, a lot going on. You can go to themeateater.com now, today. You can do it. Go there. At the top of our homepage is a little link that says the COVID-19 hunting and fishing regulation changes. You can click on that. You'll get all the updates that are there. We talked yesterday about what Washington State is doing, what Nebraska is doing, what some other states are going to do. So we'll check in on that as we go. But here's an interesting one from Denise. I want to say her last name is Ubersax. We'll go with that. She's from Switzerland. She said, I heard you on your podcast that you were concerned with the closing of outdoor spaces and particular hunting permissions. I know nothing about hunting, but we, a family of 4, are currently traveling through the States. We are from Switzerland, and at the moment we are stranded in an Arizona state park. Arizona is one of the few states where the state parks are still open, and we're happy about that. This way we have a safe place to be out in nature where we can let the boys run around and still practice social distancing. Lovely greetings, Denise. That's a pretty crazy email, Denise. I hadn't thought of that particular predicament, but hopefully you and your kids are okay, and I'm glad Arizona's keeping those state parks open so you guys have a place to enjoy the out of doors and social distance at the same time. So that's something that I hadn't thought of, Phil. I'm pretty surprised that. And also, Denise, you'd write in and tell me how you got to be listening to our podcast without being a hunter. Maybe it's the great Phil the engineer, who's also a non-hunter that you're relating with. I'm not sure, but we're happy to have you along either way.
There are definitely worse places to be stranded. That's for sure.
That's true. It's probably nice this time of year in Arizona. Probably very temperate, very, very nice. The other thing, Phil, that we've been getting a lot of is concern. A couple of people actually listened to the post-credit sequence in yesterday's show, and they were a little bit concerned that you're a gamer.
That's okay, because I'm also concerned. So
yeah,
I'm right there with them.
It's a bit of a controversy brewing in THC Nation. I'm gonna start calling it THC Nation. I know that's real douchey, but you gotta call it something. Huh? Everybody?
Okay, we're gonna brainstorm. We're gonna brainstorm a new name to call the THC Nation. Please write in with your ideas.
But yeah, please, God, it's got to be better than THC Nation. But we got a bunch of guys that wrote in. Jeff Von Holtum wrote in and said, "I would really rather that Phil was (parentheses) insert almost anything instead of a gamer." Gaming is significantly worse than COVID-19.
That's just not true.
That's insensitive, Jeff, my lord.
Listen, when you have a full-time job and 2 children, it's impossible to be what a lot of people would consider a gamer. I'm a grown adult who maybe play after his kids go to bed. He plays an hour or 2 of video games.
That's fine. Likes tiki bars. Has a dog named Mango. I mean, it's fine. Everything's fine. Phil's holding up a tiki bar sign that he has in his little room there that he's been doing all the podcasts from. So yeah, I mean that's just you're peeling back the layers that is Phil the engineer, and this is just another one that we've learned. So everybody just keep calm. It's gonna be fine.
If there's anyone out there playing Animal Crossing New Horizons, I'd love for you to come visit my island. I'd love to visit your island.
What the hell are you talking about?
We can trade fruit. Listen, Ben.
Is that some kind of euphemism?
People will write in. People will write in.
Is that some kind of weird keys in the bowl euphemism? Come to my island.
Where's my Animal Crossing hive at? Right into thc@themeateater.com. Tell me what fruit you have on your island. And
oh my God. Okay. All right.
And who's moved in.
Anyway, hopefully it's pretty soon we're going to get to Michael Hunsucker in our interview with him. He's pretty great. But before we do, I know I did ask if I want this last couple episodes really to be as much about you, the listener, as anything else, because I know, just like Denise, a lot of people are going through a lot of different things. Phil's going through a real hard time with his island and his fruit. Who the hell knows what's going on over there? But some of you are going through actual hard times. Jeff Holbrook wrote in and just said, to help you out here, here's a nice bridge. He said, "I'm a video game developer." And maybe Jeff, will shout out to you. Maybe you can develop a THC video game. Would love to see it. He's living in the Seattle area, which was basically the first hotspot of COVID-19, and he's been home since basically March 1st. He's been sleeping in, catching up on work, getting a lot of coffee, showering, which he basically has not been showering. That's good. That's good, Jeff. Getting dressed up like a grown-up. That's good also, and he tries to meet each day with a fresh attitude, which is great. He's got a couple of kids of his own, but he said they had a newborn enter the household. They're not the biological parents of this newborn, but they got notified 2 days before they were going to take in this newborn during lockdown, during COVID-19 quarantine. So I just wanted a shout out to Jeff, and he ends his email with "Give Phil my love, Jeff." So,
thanks, Jeff. I just want to say that is heroic, and I'm thinking about you and a lot of the other people who are doing a lot during this time. Service workers, people who are just out there helping out where they can. Really appreciate it.
Yep. And we're gonna try to have a couple of you guys on the show here, if not tomorrow. When we return on Tuesday, a couple of listeners on the show that are out there. Not that they're on the front lines. We're not a news show. We're not trying to get people that are gonna cry about being in emergency rooms, and we're not trying to dramatize the situation. We just know that there's a lot of people that listen, and we'd love for you to have their perspective. So keep writing into THC@themeateater.com. Let us know about those things. Let us know how you're feeling, and we'll continue to relay those on the show. We know this is still, no matter how many times a week we do a podcast, we still care about all of you, and we want to tell your stories here at THC. Now, enjoy Michael Hunsucker and his 3-turkey Nebraska trip during the quarantine. Mike Hunsucker, what's up, man?
Hey, man, how's it going?
Oh, it's like I said, it's kind of like Groundhog Day, but not too bad over here, man. How's it going? And you're back at home. I know we're going to talk a little bit about your trip to Nebraska, but you're back at home now.
Yep, back here in Missouri, and just got back last night.
No, good deal. Before we go any further, I got to congratulate you on the Chiefs Super Bowl win.
Oh my gosh, yes, thank you. I was just out messing around mowing a little bit, and actually just still have like all the remnants of our huge fireworks display that we lit off after we had a big party, and like my buddy bought like hundreds and hundreds of dollars worth of fireworks, and we just blew up everything we could after the victory, and there's still remnants of it, throughout the yard. So
I would expect nothing less. A little bit of America.
It was cool, man. It was pretty sweet, and also a long time coming. Congrats
on Tom Brady going to the Bucs. You're having a good football year, man.
Exactly, yeah. So I'm glad he didn't come over into our conference. There were some talks of that. So
yeah, that's talking sports. That's probably all you'll hear of us talking sports on this show. But it couldn't let that go because of all the positive things we're looking for. That's definitely one for you. What's quarantine life looking like for you and the family over there? You guys battening down the hatches or
yeah, I mean we've been laying low for the past few weeks. It hasn't really changed a lot of my day-to-day stuff necessarily. I mean, we obviously we travel a lot during the hunting season. We're bouncing around everywhere, but in the off season, we're kind of busy in the production side right now. And so we're cranking out episodes. We're busy editing, doing that type of stuff. And then, my wife works from home or is able to stay at home with the kids. And so she's been able to kind of hold down the fort there. So not a lot's changed. We walk out the back door and go hiking, go shed hunting. There's plenty we can do to keep busy and not, and not be impeding on the social distancing in place.
Right. I've asked everybody this. Like I said, we're on like 14 or 15. I'm losing track of how many daily podcasts we've done, but I've asked everybody this. What's your mindset going into all this? I mean, obviously, like you said, there's not a whole lot drastically that's changing for you, but it's definitely, there's some definitely existential differences, I'm sure. You got a mindset, way you approach this whole thing?
Yeah, I mean, everybody's going to be affected by it in some shape or way. And, I don't follow it really closely as far as, the media and how, what cases are popping up when and where. I just don't, there's really nothing that I can do to change any of it. And that's kind of my mindset on it. Like, don't worry about the things that you can't control. That was what, like, literally my high school football coach told me, that was one of the things that he like ingrained in all of our heads, like growing up. And it's been like, it's one of those deals, like, don't worry about the things you can't control. Don't waste your time and energy and effort on things that, you can't do anything about. So I'm just trying to obviously focus on continue doing what we're doing, running our business and, doing everything the best we can because, like I said, this is going to have, effects across the board, and the longer it drags on, the worse those effects are going to be on the economy and everything else. But, if everybody just continues to do the best they can, worry about the things they can control, continue to work, continue to, not live in fear, then I think, we're all going to end up better off in the long run.
Yeah, man. I love that message. Yeah, it's easy to slide back into some of those feelings. And, I definitely, I think everybody we've talked to has kind of said, hey, in my weaker moments, sometimes I go there, but we just, in our house, we just resolved not to go there. Like, we're just going to do the best we can. And, we can't have a bunch of people over for an Easter egg hunt, but, we can still have an Easter egg hunt.
Right, exactly.
It isn't the worst thing in the world, regardless of that. So you guys are editing what season of Heartland Bowhunter are you guys on now?
Man, so we're going to be releasing our 13th season coming out this fall. So pretty wild. Yeah.
An old grizzled veteran, man.
That's right. Yeah. I was just a young pup when we got started out. Sean and I were like 20 years old, 21 years old. So it's pretty crazy. It's been a pretty wild ride, and it's been a lot of fun. And obviously, things have changed a lot with just media in general, and we're producing. We do the TV show, and that's kind of where we put a lot of our focus into. But we also are producing, a bunch of digital content as well. And cranking out all sorts of stuff. So never a dull moment in the off season. That's my favorite thing, talking to people yeah, man, you hunt for a living. That's so awesome. And yes, I do, get to hunt a lot. I do. I'm afforded that opportunity to hunt a lot, but yeah, it's a business too. So as you well know.
Oh, hell yeah, man. You got to grind. Yeah. Season just makes it crazier.
Yeah,
that's true. What's like, I didn't even think about talking about this, but you can't avoid, like, what have you seen over those 13 years? And you coming into it as a young kid, that's extremely young. That's about when I got into it, when I was 21 or so. Not on the TV, but just in general outdoor media. Like, what have you seen tracking over those 13 years that's maybe surprised you, or just something you always are thinking about?
It's been interesting to see the industry evolve over all those years. When we got started initially, our kind of mindset or our approach was to really focus on telling a story and, showing more than just the kill. Because at the time it was all about, just the kill. And it's been pretty amazing to see, in the past 10 years or so, how much that has transformed, and how much, more content creators are focusing on, the story and behind the hunt and so much that goes into it. And it's really, I think, shed a lot of positive light on the industry, and, has opened hunting up to people, has intrigued them, that people that have never hunted before or maybe never would have hunted. And so, yeah, it's been interesting to see, that transition throughout the industry. There's also been, from a business standpoint, there's been a lot of consolidation going on, a lot with companies and stuff, and that's been pretty interesting for us to try to evolve and try to be a part of, because that's one thing too, that when we got started out, obviously, to do what we do, it takes people, sponsors, and people that are helping fund the business. But when we first started out, everybody was all about the hard sell and the pushing the product, and I couldn't have killed this deer without my Bowtech bow and that type of stuff. And that was our, when we started out, we wanted to take the opposite approach, like the soft sell approach. And that's something that's, changed a lot. And I feel like it's more well received when it doesn't feel like an infomercial or a commercial, cramming things down people's throat. And so, we really valued like the partnerships that we've created and been a part of, and a lot of our partners have been long-term partners that have become friends, and so it's been awesome to build those relationships, and that's what's fun for me on that side of things. Is I'm a relationship person, and I really enjoy that whole side of the business. So yeah, man. It's been cool to see a lot of that evolve, and unfortunately, some of the consolidation has kind of made things a little more tricky on that side of things, but still, there's so many genuine people in the industry, and so many cool people that we get a chance to work with.
O'Reilly Auto Parts are in the business of keeping your car on the road. O'Reilly Auto Parts offer friendly, helpful service and the parts knowledge you need for all your maintenance and repairs. If you're confused about what part you need, like what wipers are going to be the best, what replacement headlights are going to be the best, go into O'Reilly and talk to the people that work there, because they're great and they're super friendly, and they'll get you squared away where you walk out knowing you got the right thing. They've got thousands of parts and accessories in stock, either in-store or online, so you never have to worry if you're in a jam. Do you need your windshield wipers replaced? You need a brake light fixed? You need some quick service? They'll help you find the right part or point you to the nearest local repair shop for help. The professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts are your one-stop shop for all things auto do-it-yourself, and you can find what you need in-store or online. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts today or visit us at O'ReillyAuto.com/meateater. That's O'ReillyAuto.com/meateater. There's nothing like snook hook sets at dawn or catching a tarpon in the moonlight. Find your next fishing trip made easy on fishingbooker.com and experience the magic of the Sunshine State or any other destination on your fishing bucket list. Book a blue water adventure in search of sailfish or go snapper fishing with the kids. With over 6,000 captains and trips to choose from, planning your next one just got a whole lot easier. Download the Fishing Booker app on the Google Play or App Store, or visit them online at fishingbooker.com to book your trip today. You ever get that feeling you're stuck inside staring at screens and a primal urge kicks in? You crave wide open spaces, fresh air, the chance to connect with the land. Well, maybe it's time to find your own piece of the wild, but searching for property can be a maze. That's where land.com comes in. They got millions of listings across the country, from mountain ranches to hidden fishing holes. Their search tools are like a seasoned guide helping you narrow down what you want. Land.com isn't just about buying and selling. It's about finding a place to hunt, fish, explore, or simply sit by a campfire and listen to the crickets. So head over to land.com today to turn one day into today, because trust me, there's nothing quite like the feeling of standing on your own piece of earth.
You got to find out early on when I was at Yeti, and I was coming to visit you guys you guys do a premiere every year there in Kansas City, I think it is, right? Yeah.
Yep.
And I came, and you're like, hey, let's go play golf. And you got to see how, I don't think I even swung a golf club, but I didn't want to embarrass myself. So I just drove a cart around and drank beer while you guys played golf.
You were the marshal. It was good.
Yeah. Somebody has to be watching you guys. I don't need any fouls.
That's right.
But you guys have done this a ton. You've kind of helped other folks, realize their dream. Because like you said, in the beginning when I was coming up and you were coming up, it was kind of like magazines and TV. That's it. And those are the ways you break in. If you kind of don't know how to get into those things, there's really no democracy of opportunity. And now there is that, but there's still, the barriers to entry for making an outdoor TV show, which still most people I talk to, that's kind of the tippy top of the of the world. So what are your general tips and as of like today, how somebody can jump into something like what you guys do?
Yeah, we get questions all the time about that. How do I get involved? How do I get started? And we were fortunate to have a unique concept and something different, as were a lot of the people that are in the industry that are successful. I mean, they kind of have their own space and their own niche, so to speak. And so that's what I always tell people is find something different that you can do or that you can bring to the industry in order to kind of separate yourselves and distinguish yourself from other people. And now more than ever, like you said, the barriers to entry are way lower than they ever have been before with social media and everybody having a platform for their voice and a platform for their product, whatever they want to put out there. You can put it out there, and if people like it, they're going to follow, they're going to like, they're going to share, and that's going to grow. And so I tell people all the time too is you got to be in it for the right reasons. When we started, Sean and I literally were in high school just filming hunts for fun. Yeah. And I had bought a camera, when I was like junior high, just to film stuff. Like me and my buddies doing dumb stuff around his farm, like just being, doing crazy stuff. And like we were, we filmed it because it was fun to be able to like relive some of those memories and share with people. And like that's kind of what like got us hooked on the filming hunts side of things. When I'll never forget, Sean and I filmed our, first hunt successfully, and it was like so cool to be able to like bring that back to our dads and be like, dude, like look at this. This is how the hunt went down. Like check it out. And it was super rewarding. And as we got more serious about it, like the production side of things, like we started putting in a lot more effort into what we were producing. But the final product was much higher quality and was much more rewarding, to see or have and be able to share. So you kind of get in what you put it. You get out what you put in, and you got to be in it for the right reasons, that's for sure, because it is a lot of work. It's definitely, it's a lot of fun, but it's a lot of work. And if you're not in it for the right reasons, then, it isn't worth it.
Yeah. you know, our buddy Cameron Haynes, what'd he say? Must be nice. I'm like, yeah. I mean, I saw your fall. I'm like, shit, that must be nice. You had a hell of a fall, man.
Yeah.
Every time I turned around, you were killing some other big buck or something around the country.
Yeah.
Give us a rundown of, like, I think you killed big elk, big mule deer, a big whitetail. I can't remember if you killed all the 10 big game species in North America, but you were out there, dude. You were out there.
Yeah, no, man, I had the best fall of my life, and that's something to be said for you know, being doing this for such a long time, like I have. You know, I've get the opportunity to hunt a lot of cool places, and we hunt a lot and we hunt hard, and so you know, it just so happens that a lot of things kind of fell into place this fall, and it's funny looking back, you know, because like everybody's like, oh my gosh, like, oh, you're so lucky, or you did, you know, you had such a great fall or whatever. But I think back to like a lot of the hunts, and like a lot of the hunts were hunts that literally, like, one decision wrong and it could have cost me everything. Like, things, just like I said, they just fell into place at the right time, and I can't think of a single one that was like a layup, like, you know, like a big buck feeding in a food plot at 30 yards. Like, I have all day to take time, draw back, relax. Like, it was just one of those deals to where like they were all like fast and furious and quick, and you know, a lot of quick decision making. But yeah, man, it was cool. I kicked off things with Cole Kramer up in Alaska,
Yep.
Which I think you said you guys did a podcast with him recently.
We were telling Kodiak stories with him a couple weeks ago. Yep.
Yeah, sweet. So yeah, a lot of people know that Cole and I kind of grew up together, went to high school together, and he's one of my brother's best friends growing up. And so we've done some pretty cool hunts over the years. And this year I did the mountain goat hunt with him on Kodiak, and I'd never done a mountain goat hunt, so it was a cool experience for me to experience that firsthand. And you know, it's one of those kind of physically grueling hunts that you kind of walk, you push through it, and it sucks at the moment, a lot of sucky times, but you walk away, you can kind of walk away and you feel, you know, good about it, and you feel like, you know, you pushed yourself hard and you were able to accomplish something. And there's something about those hunts, you know, all about it. I know you guys had the struggle on that December hunt you went blacktail hunting with.
Yeah, that's the story we told. I think it was podcast number 5, the quarantine cast. Yeah, it is. Cole has a unique way of creating the suck. Like, he just, and plus, you know, those, and I know I've never done a goat hunt up there, but I just know from talking to Cole and being stuck in tents with Cole for many nights that, like, those goats tend to, especially when they're shot with bow and arrow, they tend to just run into some hellholes and just bury themselves into the worst possible place. And it's usually going to get dark on you, and next thing you know, you're busting brush in bear country with a goat on your back, if you're lucky enough, at least. Do you guys have that this year? Some rough pack outs?
We did. Yeah, mine, my goat actually was not too terrible. Like, it was kind of I made a pretty good shot on him, and he I was still, man, I'm just blown away by how tough they are. You know, I know that, you know, sheep kind of get a rap for being kind of weak-willed and kind of like caribou, you know, kind of weak-willed. Like, they don't like just drive to survive like a lot of animals do. But man, the goats, man, they were tough. But yeah, mine wasn't terrible. You know, we quartered it out, packed it out, and we had a lot of guys. You know, we had there was Sean and I, 2 camera guys, Cole, and then his cousin Will, that was the assistant guide, and then his other cousin Doug, who was packing. So we had a good group of guys. So it wasn't terrible. But Sean actually hit his in the shoulder with his bow, and he ran off, and we happened to like relocate him, and he went down into some alders and was like just buried in there. And fortunately, I mean, there was 0% chance that we would have been able to go down there and get another shot with a bow. It's just a thick disaster, nasty mess. And he happened to like lay down in the only open clearing in these whole alders, and Sean was able to follow up with the rifle and shoot him at like 230 yards or something like that. And you know, from up on the mountain, it didn't look like it was too terrible, but like as we like crept down there and we like start getting into the alders, it's like, oh my, and it took us like, you know, 3 hours to find him because we kept going the wrong way and couldn't find out where he was. And that was a brutal one. That pack out was a brutal one.
Yeah, there's nothing, it doesn't seem like, you know, I gave Cole a compliment, like, you're a great leader, but boy, you've led me into some shitholes. Like, I can only imagine.
Yeah, it's one of those deals, you just, on those mountain hunts, like, that's just part of it. Like,
man.
you know, some are easier than others, but you got to be willing to overcome situations like that if you want to do those kind of hunts and push yourself to the limits on those things, because you can get into a lot of crazy stuff for sure.
Yeah, man. And I think we have to, you know, at this point say there's no better feeling, you know, than getting to the terminus of your hunt after you've done something that hard. Like that just
Right.
isn't, you just feel so much better as if you climb up a tree and your first day of the season and a deer walks under it and you shoot it. Yeah, that's all fine and good. You take what you can get, which you well know. But man, there's no better feeling than roughing it out like that. And Kodiak always seems to provide that environment.
Yeah, man, that's what I kind of enjoy most about like hunting, Western hunting, hunting out west, like the opportunity or the ability to make things happen, as opposed to, you know, in the Midwest hunting whitetails. Like you can't just get out of your stand and go hike around and like push yourself. Like I'm gonna hunt super hard and walk all over this place and kill a big deer. You know, it's just like one of those deals. It's more of a you know, set up, wait, kind of play your cards right and hope that things work out your way.
Yeah, man. Well, we got to get to your recent turkey hunt because I wanted to talk to you for a bunch of reasons, but the main reason was we were just reading and reporting on that Nebraska Game and Fish had closed all the non-resident turkey tags, had shut them down, and who knows if they'll keep the resident season open. But at the same time, I was looking at your Insta story, and there you were in Nebraska, smoking 3 times in one sit. So I was like, man, that's for a bunch of reasons. One, because you got in there prior to all this happening, and then 2, just somebody's out there turkey hunting, because we're up here in Montana, and a lot of our listeners are stuck inside and can't go out. And I know the youth season is closed in Washington. A bunch of other things are happening, so we're desperate. We need you to tell us a turkey story, man. One that didn't happen years ago.
Yeah, no, we were fortunate to have bought our tags already before. I kind of had heard that was maybe coming down the pipe, and so I bought my tags prior to that. Heading up this past weekend, and so we were lucky to get in on that. And yeah, it's kind of crazy. I mean, I only bought 2 of my 3. You can buy 3 tags total.
Yeah.
I had bought 2, and if you bought your tags, you can still you can still hunt, or if you choose not to hunt, you can get a refund. But that's kind of how they're handling it, as far as I understand. But yeah, man, we hunt Nebraska almost every year, and we headed up. It opens the 25th of March, so it's kind of an early opener. And so
is that archery only?
Yep, it's an archery only. Yep. So
that's what I thought.
it opens nice and early, and there's a lot of opportunity in Nebraska, and so we have I have some property that I've been hunting for years that's just, you know, not too far across the border, and then so we actually headed up there. We go and we camp out and kind of do the turkey hunt thing, and it's usually a lot of fun. There's a lot of birds, and for whatever reason this year there was just a lot of people, a lot of hunters up there. I guess I'm assuming with all the quarantine going on, like because we hunt private and we hunt public both, and hunt some walk-in stuff, and every walk-in piece we went by had somebody there. There was, guys hunting border properties of our private stuff. There was just a lot of people there. And so, man, we were like, shoot, like we just didn't feel like our odds were that great. And so, a buddy of mine, that runs a, outfitting business, and he outfits in Nebraska and Kansas mainly. We deer hunt with them quite a bit. And he was like, man, you're welcome to come out and hunt here. He's like, I don't have many clients coming in right now because of everything going on. A lot of his guys fly in or whatever, and so we packed up and headed 4 hours west, and it was a pretty good thing we made the decision. It was pretty awesome. We got there, and he had an idea of where these birds were roosting, but wasn't exactly sure. So we kind of looked at the map and looked at the onyx and the topographical lay of the land, and we were like, all right, I think this is where we want to be. And it doesn't matter how much of that stuff you do, though. Like literally, if you've ever gone and hunted a new property you've never hunted before for the first time, and like walking in the pitch black, it's like, oh, okay, what are we going to be getting into here? So, so we got that first morning. We left the truck. We decided, okay, we're going to hunt the west side of the creek. We think they'll be on that side, and we're hiking in. We get a couple hundred yards in the truck. I blow my alcohol, and they gobble. I was like, okay, they're there. That's where they're at, and we're trying to figure out, they're in a big cottonwood right on the creek. And we're like, man, which side are they going to fly down on? We thought we picked the low side, like the bottom field, but it was like the way it laid, the creek was basically, the very bottom. And then it was high on both sides of the creek basically. And so we're like, oh, I don't know which side. And so we tried crossing the creek, couldn't cross the creek. It was too deep, got water in my boots. We're like, okay. So it was starting to get light at this point, and we just kind of stayed on the west side, headed up the hill, set up in some cedars, probably 300 yards away from the roost tree, not as close as I wanted to get. But it was basically getting light, and it was kind of one of those deals all right, let's just sit down, kind of do an observation set, put the decoys out, and hope for the best. And so that's kind of what we did. There was and this is western Nebraska, Rios, so and early season, so they're major flocked up. So there was probably 50 or 60 birds in this roost tree.
Holy
and
shit.
They So they just fly down, and they all, run around, do their pecking order thing, chase everybody around, and they all end up working off, so we didn't get an opportunity. And so we hunted, we kind of moved on them, got back on them, and then tried to get in front of them and just didn't have any luck calling them in. Later that afternoon, because in Nebraska you can hunt all day, which is kind of nice. And so later that afternoon, we made another move on them, tried to get in front of them, but just got close, set up, called, and just wasn't, having much luck with them being responsive to the calls as is early season a lot of times. And so we said, well, it's getting to be, we got 3.5, 4 hours till dark. Let's go back and hunt, but closer to the roost tree. We had picked out a spot that we thought would be, would be good for that evening or maybe the next morning, depending on how it all went. So we were like, for us, it's tough too, because we're, filming and, we hunt with archery, with bows and without blinds. And so it takes us a good, 10, 15 minutes to set up. So it's not like you can just, strike one up, sit down and kill them, which is so much fun to do, but it just takes a little time. And so sometimes, as much as I hate doing it, it makes more sense for us to get in a spot where we think they're going to be coming to and just sit down and wait and call, and, every so often just kind of wait them out. And so that's what we did. And it didn't take us long, and didn't take us long before the birds started gobbling off in the distance. We'd call a little bit, they'd answer a little bit, and kind of slowly came in, and then all of a sudden, bam, here come 4 of them. They pop over the hill and they see the decoys, and we're using that new Dave Smith posturing Jake decoy, which is super badass looking. All the decoys are great, but this is just something different, something new, and they saw that and got, they just all turned bright red and just start coming in, chasing each other, and came in perfect. It's kind of interesting hunting those bigger groups of birds too, the big, there was the one dominant bird that was never came out of strut, but the other ones get in and they kind of their snoots, shrink up, and they kind of start looking around they think there's going to be a fight. And, but the big strutter just never really, he never committed fully to the decoy. He was going to fight it, he kind of kept his distance. And so when he turned, facing away with his fan blocking his head, I came to full draw, and, he turned. I shot him kind of about perfectly broadside, really, and smoked him. Hit him really, a little bit further to the right than I was hoping. But it was a really good shot, and he kind of flopped and went about 30 yards. The other ones kind of hung around for a second, but they were kind of oh, we're getting out of here, and they left. And so I had my buddy Joey with me, like I said, and I had 2 tags. He had 1. And so we just sat there for a minute. We were filming a couple things and just kind of enjoying and celebrating the successful hunt. And all of a sudden, Joel, who was filming, looked over and saw another gobbler coming. And so we were like, oh, crap, here comes another one. So we got ready. And he was kind of just skirting by us. It was almost I don't know if I was thinking maybe he saw us or whatever. He just wasn't interested. And so he kind of works his way off. And then here comes 4 more chasing him. So he was getting chased. And so 4 more come running into the decoys, and these are a little aggressive. They're all, doing that, up against the decoy and pushing up on them, and
the old fighting purr.
Yeah, it's so exciting. So we were waiting for him to just straight up start spurring him, and he never did. And it was this is probably 2 minutes of him just strutting around, messing around. The other birds were kind of out of it, and that just the other 3. The one was really into it. And so when he faced away, I told Joey, I said, just go ahead, just draw real slow, because the other birds will probably see you draw. And he drew real slow, and they didn't freak out. The other one just stood there, and he stoned this one, just shot him right in the back, and just dropped him straight there in the decoy. He started flopping, and the other birds start gobbling and running around. It's just they don't know what's going on, and the other ones kind of circled around. They got to where I couldn't shoot, and then they came back in. We got them fired up, calling to them. Came back in, and or came to like 35 yards, not all the way in. And so I came to full draw. I was able to get drawn back and just smoked this one. He just nailed him at 35 yards. He does a backflip and is done right there. So pretty incredible to have three gobblers like dead right there in the decoys, basically.
All of us turkey hunters that are now kind of like scared they're going to cancel our seasons, like, need this. That's like a shot of energy. That's like chugging a Red Bull hearing that story. That's what I'm sitting here waiting for turkey season with bated breath.
Yeah, it was awesome, man. That's what that's kind of that's what the end game, like for me, like fooling a turkey and getting them to commit all the way into the decoys, and like when they come in and aggressive and fight, and like that's just what it's all about for me. Like just knowing that you've won at that moment.
Oh, yeah, man. Especially using those, anything Dave Smith, really, but that new posturing Jake one, I was looking at that the other day. I don't have one, but I was looking at him like, damn. Anything Dave Smith. But I imagine that, like, what you have to do to get good film was also a good strategy at that moment, right? Because, that's what those birds are flocked up. You kind of looking to peel off some birds from the larger group. So getting to where they want to be and then calling a little bit and kind of drawing them off is a perfect way to go.
Yeah, it worked out nicely, and they were by themselves. They had obviously throughout some point in the day had broken off from the flock, so they didn't have hens with them. So they were kind of running around, and I think I'm sure the other gobbler, we saw another gobbler or two that had a flock of hens. So the dominant birds were still had the hens grouped up, but these ones kind of broke off and were just kind of running around. So
yeah, that's the perfect. I mean, that if you're going to write an article on how to kill birds this time of year, that's how you'd write it. You'd say,
yeah, exactly.
You're not going to kill that big strutter with the 15 hens. At least probably not.
Yeah, not unless you can. I mean, just get super tight to the roost first thing in the morning. That's how I've had the best luck with killing those birds.
Yeah, for sure.
Sure. Catch them before they get with their hens and you can't call them away.
O'Reilly Auto Parts are in the business of keeping your car on the road. O'Reilly Auto Parts offer friendly, helpful service and the parts knowledge you need for all your maintenance and repairs. If you're confused about what part you need, like what wipers are going to be the best, what replacement headlights are going to be the best, go into O'Reilly and talk to the people that work there, because they're great and they're super friendly, and they'll get you squared away where you walk out knowing you got the right thing. They've got thousands of parts and accessories in stock, either in-store or online, so you never have to worry if you're in a jam. Do you need your windshield wipers replaced? You need a brake light fixed? You need some quick service? They'll help you find the right part or point you to the nearest local repair shop for help. The professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts are your one-stop shop for all things auto do-it-yourself, and you can find what you need in-store or online. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts today or visit us at O'ReillyAuto.com/MeatEater. That's O'ReillyAuto.com/MeatEater. There's nothing like snook hook sets at dawn or catching a tarpon in the moonlight. Find your next fishing trip made easy on fishingbooker.com and experience the magic of the Sunshine State or any other destination on your fishing bucket list. Book a blue water adventure in search of sailfish or go snapper fishing with the kids. With over 6,000 captains and trips to choose from, planning your next one just got a whole lot easier. Download the Fishing Booker app on the Google Play or App Store, or visit them online at fishingbooker.com to book your trip today. You ever get that feeling you're stuck inside staring at screens and a primal urge kicks in? You crave wide open spaces, fresh air, the chance to connect with the land. Well, maybe it's time to find your own piece of the wild, but searching for property can be a maze. That's where Land.com comes in. They got millions of listings across the country, from mountain ranches to hidden fishing holes. Their search tools are like a seasoned guide helping you narrow down what you want. Land.com isn't just about buying and selling. It's about finding a place to hunt, fish, explore, or simply sit by a campfire and listen to the crickets. So head over to land.com today to turn one day into today, because trust me, there's nothing quite like the feeling of standing on your own piece of earth.
Did you have any, while you're out there, any weird like quarantine self-distancing run-ins? Like anybody talking shit to you for being out running around, or like what was the vibe while you're out hunting? I know you said there's more people than ever.
Yeah, no, not at all. And that's something that we were, kind of discussing, talking about, like, we've all kind of had our group of guys, have had our like debates on, everything that's going on. And honestly, like, it's like, oh, is that irresponsible, like, to leave to go hunt somewhere? Like, what are you, how are you interacting with people? And honestly, for us, I mean, I live in the Kansas City area, so like a pretty urban area, and if like, unless you're seriously, literally quarantining yourself for 14 days straight, eating only, food from your house, not leaving and going to the grocery store, like, I don't want to hear it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you're exposing yourself. If you're, ordering Uber Eats and you're doing to-go stuff and doing fast food and you're out running around going to the grocery store, like, you're, putting yourself in more of an at risk than me driving to Nebraska with a camper. And, the only thing I'm coming in contact with is a gas station occasionally, so.
That's how we think about it. It's a tough one, man. There's no perfect solution, like you just said. And you're not going to say, you're not going to say, like, we're not going to put my house in a bug tent, not let anybody in or out.
Right.
And to get to a more rural place where there's less less contact. Yeah, I can see the logic in that. That's one thing I wonder when I was watching them. Like, I wonder what, whether you're staying in an outfitter with a big lodge or, staying in a local motel or, because there are some versions of that hunt where it is a little bit more sketchy. But it sounds like you did it right.
Yeah. I mean, I could see, staying in a hotel, that's a little different scenario, I would say. Just people coming in and out, traveling through there, whatever. I'm no expert on any of it, but I have no personal issues with. I don't feel like I'm putting my family at risk or anybody else at risk by doing what we were doing. Like, it's kind of one of those deals that where, you just got to use your best judgment. And like you said, Nebraska changed some stuff to where, they kind of, you can still come hunt as a non-resident, but you can't buy any more tags. So, right. If people are driving, and most people are going to be driving or whatever, running around, you're not, you're going to be hunting rural areas. But it did change things, like guys that I know that do run outfitting businesses that have guys that fly in, and that changed a lot of stuff. Actually, I had a turkey hunt scheduled for Florida that I canceled because we were supposed to be leaving like on the 29th of last month, and so that definitely has changed some stuff too. But fortunately for us, we live right here, like in Missouri. We can hunt Missouri, Kansas, Nebraska, all like super close and within drivable distances, and like just a lot of opportunity here close.
Yeah, that's for the same way. I think I got 4 turkey tags in Montana this year. I think 4 or 5 that I can buy. I already bought 4 just because I wanted to put the pressure on myself. And then, we could still make it over to South Dakota. And I was going to do a South Dakota, Nebraska road trip, but that's no longer going to happen. So South Dakota, we could get into Oregon, Washington, Idaho. There's a bunch of places we can go that, that are similar to what you're talking about. It's an option that you can go camp out. You can sleep in a tent or sleep in a camper. The only thing you're going to be touching is the handle of the gas nozzle when you're pumping your gas. And
I just grabbed a towel from one of those, like the dispensers there. Just grabbed a towel, literally, and just use that, and then use some hand sanitizer. And I'm not, like I said, it's a serious situation, and I don't make lightly of it at all. But I'm not overly concerned about contracting it if you're somewhat safe and you handle yourself, responsibly.
Well, we're all coming up to that decision. I'm coming up to it, and everybody else that wants to go turkey hunting, whether they're traveling as far as you did or traveling, a couple hours from home, everybody's got to make that decision for yourself and do it smart out there if you're doing it. Sounds like you did. Sounds like I would love for that result. 3 times in one morning. That was the first morning you hunted this place, right? First day you hunted this place?
The first, let's see, that was the first evening, yeah. Yep.
Damn,
so
man.
We hunted that morning, and then moved on them a little bit during the day, and then that evening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I saw that on Instagram, I was like, this is exactly what I needed, because we went through a whole day. It was
cool
talking about Nebraska and what they were doing to to shut down some turkey tags and just kind of thinking, is this going to happen across the board? What's state by state? And that's what we've been concerned with. So it's good to hear hear your story.
Have you, I heard from a buddy that they shut down guiding in Montana until April 10th.
Yeah, we're talking to Greg Lemon from FWP here in Montana real soon on the show just to get their outlook on things and get exactly what what they're thinking, because I'm sure it's a dynamic situation. Oh yeah, it is. It's one of those deals. Like Nebraska did it. They were kind of one of the first ones I think that I know of, and then like it's one of those deals where it's like everybody knows it's serious, but they like if one state does it, then the others almost have to. Yeah. Otherwise, they look at like they're being reckless or they're not taking it serious enough, or if something bad does happen, then it's like their fault, and so it's like a chain of events. And so it'll be interesting to see over the next week how these different states handle it. Because like Missouri, for example, like they're not even requiring you to get a fishing license right now. Yeah. They're trying to encourage people to get out and safe social distance in the outdoors. Yeah. It's crazy, man, because Washington, we had one of our guys, Sam Lundgren, was out. He was on the other day, and he was out getting ready to do some steelhead fishing in Washington State, and he got an hour and a half in before they shut down the fishing season. So basically kicked him out back to Montana. Wow. And so, yeah, I mean, that's what this show has been about the last couple of days, really just trying to figure out, like, there is a state-by-state, I wouldn't call it a mixed message, but each state is handling it differently. Each state is saying, like, hey, this is what we're trying to do. And you're definitely not wrong in saying, like, this seems like it has a cascading effect. Once one municipality, even regional, local, state government says we're going to restrict it this way, then the pressure's on for everyone else to follow suit, because the more we restrict ourselves, the quicker we can get out of this thing and back to, by the time September rolls around, we can be out chasing elk and whitetails and mule deer and all the things we want to do. So I wanted to check in with you. When I saw that, I was like, somebody's out there doing it. Somebody's out there making it happen. Yeah. And it had to be Hunsucker, because you're just like, keep that rabbit's foot. Whatever rabbit's foot you got hanging around, you keep that, man. Yeah, I'll take it while I can get it. I know it comes and goes. So I'm last fall was my fall, but this fall I may have one for the other end of the spectrum. Yeah, dude, I've been through that. Yeah, like 2017, I had the best year ever, and then the last 2 years have been getting progressively worse. So I will see if I can rebound in 2020. We will see. Yep, you just gotta do the best you can, hunt hard, and try to make the most of the opportunities that come your way. Damn right, man. Well, I appreciate you taking the time to inject us with some turkey story during this quarantine time, and stay safe over there, brother. Yeah, absolutely. Hopefully more of that to come. I hope so. See ya. See you, dude. That's it. That's all. Episode 14 of the Quarantine Cast in the books. Thank you for listening to the show. Thank you for caring about turkeys and hunting and Phil and me and all the other characters on THC. Thanks to Mike Hunsucker for jumping in and telling us a little story, giving us a little shot of adrenaline from a good turkey story as the season approaches, hopefully, for some of us. Now, Phil, I'm going to give you a little, just because I care about you, man, top 3 video games right now, go. We don't care about the video games, Phil. That was a trick. I don't want to hear about the favorite. This would be like that time I let you talk about Star Wars. Nobody cares. I wouldn't have been able to think of a top 3 anyway. There's too many. There's too many. Nobody cares. I have like a Nintendo 64 somewhere gathering dust that maybe I need to whip out and challenge you to Bugs Bunny Birthday Blowout. You ever played that? No, but I would love to. It's a great game. All right, maybe we'll start like doing I have to get like a gamer headset and we'll have to play together. Can you do that with a Nintendo 64, or is that only on PlayStation? Unfortunately, back in the late 90s, the internet hadn't come along far enough to enable voice chat, but I think we could make it happen somehow, some way though. We could do like a Zoom call. We could just talk, we could FaceTime and play N64. Donkey Kong, bitch. Let's go. Line it up. Donkey Kong, bitch. Put that on a Yeti tumbler. That's right. Sell that. Sponsor that. We're losing it. It's clear. We know it. We're self-aware here at THC. But anyhow, tomorrow's the last quarantine cast, so it's going to be a good one. We're compiling lots of things. I have the story of my biggest elk of all time, and we're going to have also our buddy Greg Lemon from Montana Fish, Wildlife, and Parks in the intro, just to give us a little update on what the state that Phil and I live in is doing during this in terms of the state game department, and then the perspective on what all FWP or DNR agencies are going through during this time. So we're trying to give you some perspective there, and then we're going to be telling big fat elk stories and talking about some of your perspectives in the quarantine. So join us tomorrow for a freewheeling Friday of fun. Check out that alliteration, Phil. That was right off the cuff. I'm proud of myself. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye.
The Hunting Collective with Ben O'Brien is a part of the Meat Eater Podcast Network. It is produced by Corinne Schneider and engineered by Phil Taylor. You can find it on iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, themeateater.com, or anywhere podcasts are downloadable. Wherever you listen, leave a 5-star review and subscribe.
Okay, Phil, did you have any remembrances of Easter as a kid? Like, would you have any Easter traditions at the Phil Taylor household, the Taylor abode?
Oh yeah, I mean, I feel like they're pretty typical. We dye eggs in the days leading up to Easter, and then Easter morning they would be hidden around the yard or the house, depending on the weather. The Easter bunny was very conscious of comfort. So, but man, look, the Easter egg hunt was just as exciting as Christmas morning for me. I don't know about you, if you were fortunate enough.
Yeah, no, I'd have multiple. I was always so spoiled to have multiple Easter egg hunts. And really, and when I was older, my dad would hide beers in the yard when I was like 18. We call it the Irish Easter egg hunt. He would just put like a 6-pack. We'd get an empty 6-pack box, and we'd have to run around and fill our 6-pack up with beers. That was a good time. You're starting to see a little bit why I am like I am right now. That's where it came from.
Just a little. The cracks are showing, and yeah, I can see underneath.
You ever get that feeling the walls closing in, the concrete jungle suffocating you? You crave some wide open spaces, the chance to connect with nature, maybe in a spot all your own. Well, head over to land.com. They've got ranches, forests, mountains, streams, you name it. Search by acreage. You can search by location. You can search by the kind of hunting and fishing you're dreaming of. Land.com. It is where the adventure begins. Hey guys, turkey season is in full swing right now, and if you are planning on getting after it, make sure to pick up some Meat Eater Phelps turkey calls to stuff into the old turkey vest or into your fanny pack right now. I carry a few different things. I like to use mouth calls, and I like to use pot calls. Mouth calls or diaphragms, I like them because it gives you hand-free calling, meaning when you're working a bird up close, you can have your gun on your knee, finger on the trigger, ready to roll, and still be making turkey sounds. I like pot calls because I just like pot calls. I enjoy calling with a pot call. Whatever direction you go, including a box call, which I don't personally use too much, but they're fun and great, and I started out with them. Yanni, on the other hand, one of my main turkey hunting buddies, he loves box calls. And what's funny is I'll now and then look to him and give him the look that means get out your box call and find us a turkey. So it's not that I don't like them. I just have Yanni use his. Then I don't have to carry it. Go to Phelps Game Calls. Get calls that are made in the USA and get calls that'll get them close. Find yours at phelpsgamecalls.com today.